In the far reaches of the void, a spacecraft enters in collision with a strange asteroid. The impact leaves a breach on the hull of the ship, and soon the two crew members realize they are not alone anymore. A sort of hellish creature is now roaming the hallways of the ship. One of the crew members is trapped inside an escape pod and must guide his crewmate to him in order to escape together. One faulty communication and any one of the two could die in a horrible death. Will they manage to get out of this perilous situation? This sets the context of Far Away Cage. There will be only one player who plays as a mechanic trapped inside the escape pod. As such, the escape pod capsule in its hull is the controller in which the player will play. The ship, the crewmate, and the alien are part of the fictive and virtual world with which the player can interact. This also means the crewmate and the alien are AI controlled. Our intentions with this game are the following: create an immersive and believable spacecraft control experience. Put the player through a roller coaster of hope and stress concerning his survival as well as one of his crewmates. Design an interactable space which is in itself the controller. To specify the ground rules of the game, the attack of the alien onto the player or the crewmates results in the death and the end of the game. However, if the player manages to guide his crewmate to the escape pod, he wins. Inside the escape pod, and as far as movement goes, the player can only slide on the ground like a mechanic under a car, and pull himself up to enter some kind of alcove. In addition, various interfaces of control will be spread inside the capsule and will allow the player to interact with the fictive world. To detail the main interfaces, firstly, there is an assembly of labeled jack inputs which mimics the layout of the ship. With that, the player has a headset which he can plug into any one of these inputs. By plugging the headset to a specific input, the player is able to hear what is happening in a connected room. This will allow the player to have feedback concerning the ship, his crewmates, and the alien. More than that, being plugged to a room also allows to trigger some interactions with it. The main interaction is to send light signals into the connected room to give indication to the crewmate. Thanks to this system, the player will be able to tell his crewmate to hide if the alien is near or to go in some adjacent room to get closer to the escape pod. Finally, the escape pod capsule is linked to multiple air vents. The alien can enter them and threaten the life of the player. The player will have audio feedback to determine from which vent the alien is coming from. If he reacts quickly enough, the player can press a button next to the vent in order to close it. While the button is pressed, the vent will be closed. This will prevent the alien to reach the escape pod, but it will also cause a power failure inside the capsule, causing the player to lose any feedback he currently had about what was going on inside the ship. The main challenges which the player will have to face are the following. Manage to improvise according to the current problematic. For example, if the room between the crewmate and the player has no oxygen in it. The player must then find a way to fill it with oxygen for his crewmate to join him inside the escape pod. Move quickly and efficiently inside the capsule. The player will have to slide and pull himself down or up in order to reach the different controls which are pretty much scattered inside the capsule. Understand the specificities of the controls. The player will also have to remember how each control works and not panic while manipulating them even if the situation is stressful. This concludes the presentation of Far Away Cage. Thanks for watching.